In the glow of the Christmas dinner lights in front of everyone, Mom laughed and asked, "When are you going to start your own home?" I lowered my eyes and smiled. Everyone was laughing. Plates clinked against silverware. Gifts were stacked beneath the tree. I felt a burning noise in my ears, like the room had been stuffed with cotton and fireworks at the same time, but I kept that same faint smile on my face. We were sitting in the dining room of our suburban Ohio home. Red and gold decorations shimmered from every corner. Mom had a glass of wine in her hand. My cousins, my aunt, my uncle, everyone circled the table. Mom said it again, louder this time, "You're 30 now. It's time to get serious. All the other girls have moved ahead." My cousin tried to stifle a laugh. Someone added, "Maybe she's waiting for a prince." The table erupted in laughter. If you've ever smiled while your heart was breaking, stay with me. Subscribe to follow what happened next. You won't believe how that Christmas morning changed everything. I picked up my water glass. My hand was shaking, but I set it down firmly on the table. "I'm fine, Mom," I said. He shrugged. "Being fine isn't enough. A woman needs a home, a husband, children." She said it like I was a delayed construction project that had missed its deadline. My younger sister sat beside her husband. She avoided my eyes. Dad was quiet as usual. He always went quiet in moments like this. Mom spoke and everyone else listened. I watched as they talked about me without talking to me, as if I wasn't even at the table. Dinner rolled on. The turkey was carved and passed around. Conversations splintered into smaller ones. But every few minutes someone would joke, "Next Christmas, we'll be celebrating your engagement, right?" Each time I laughed it off. I pulled out my phone and checked the time. The night felt endless. When everyone drifted toward the kitchen for dessert, Mom came over to me. In a lower voice she said, "I'm saying this for your own good. People ask questions. I have to answer them." For the first time that evening I looked directly into her eyes. "Are you answering them?" I asked quietly. "Or yourself?" She blinked, startled. Then her expression hardened. "Don't start drama. I'm your mother." I didn't respond. I picked up my coat and stepped out onto the porch. Snow was falling softly, coating the railings in white. I inhaled deeply, letting the cold air scrape my lungs clean. I wiped the smile off my face. And in that exact moment I made my decision. By morning, everyone would have their answer. I live in California. I have my own career. I bought my apartment myself. But at every family gathering, the same questions circle me like vultures. When are you getting married? When are you having kids? As if my other achievements are invisible. For years I explained that I was happy. I said I wasn't in a rush. But Mom always carried a sense of embarrassment. In front of her friends she would say I was too picky. That's why I was alone. That night, standing on the porch, I pulled out my phone and reopened the email I'd received from the bank 3 weeks earlier. The letter informing me that a credit card had been opened in my name. $25,000 in debt. When I'd called Mom about it, she'd said, "I'll explain later. Don't start this right now." I had come home for Christmas planning to confront her face to face. Instead, she turned dinner into a performance. Back in my childhood bedroom that night, I sat cross-legged on the bed and organized everything. Bank statements. My credit report. The application form with my name printed clearly across it. And her signature scribbled where mine should have been. I photographed every document. I created a digital folder on my laptop. I saved the number of an attorney. I set my alarm for 7 in the morning. The next morning, everyone gathered around the breakfast table. It was the day after Christmas. My cousins were still staying over. Mom was pouring coffee. When she saw me, she smiled lightly. "Glad you're up early. You're not upset about last night, are you?" I pulled out a chair and sat down. "No," I said calmly. "I actually wanted to talk about something too. In front of everyone." The room stilled. Dad lowered his newspaper. My sister looked at me sharply. I placed my phone on the table and unlocked the screen. "Mom struggles with answering people's questions," I said evenly. "Today I have one. Mom, why did you open a credit card in my name?" The coffee mug trembled in her hand. "What nonsense are you talking about?" she snapped. I turned the screen toward her. "This is the letter from the bank. $25,000 in debt. That's my social security number. Those are your signatures." My cousins exchanged glances. My sister whispered, "Mom?" Mom tried to laugh it off. It's a misunderstanding. I only used it temporarily. I was going to pay it back. I met her gaze. It's been 3 months. Not a single dollar has been paid. My credit score has dropped. I opened the file. These are the statements. Target. A resort in Florida. These are your charges. Dad pushed his chair back slowly. Is this true? He asked. Mom's voice sharpened. I did it for everyone. For this house. You don't understand. Kept my tone steady. Last night you were worried about answering people's questions. Today maybe they deserve to know why you used your daughter's name. The room fell silent except for the low hum of the refrigerator. She glared at me. You're humiliating me in front of everyone? I held her gaze. What did you do last night? I wasn't yelling. I wasn't shaking. I was just stating facts. I've already spoken to a lawyer, I continued. If this debt isn't paid within a week, I'll file a report. This is fraud. My sister covered her mouth. Dad said quietly, we can talk about this. I nodded slightly. We've tried talking. It kept getting postponed. Fear and anger flickered across Mom's face. You would send your own mother to jail? She demanded. I answered without hesitation. You put my financial life at risk. I'm protecting myself. I picked up my bag. I'm flying back to California today. My ticket is booked. I've notified my bank. The card is frozen. I looked at Dad. If you want to help, pay the debt. Otherwise, I'll move forward legally. As I walked toward the door, the silence behind me was complete. No laughter. No jokes. No questions about when I would start a home. Every head was lowered. Sitting in the SUV in the driveway, my hands were steady. I wasn't crying. I wasn't raging. I felt clear. I started the engine and drove away. On the way to the airport, Mom called. I put her on speaker. We'll figure something out, she said quickly. There's no need to involve the police. I replied, 1 week. A written agreement. A full payment schedule. She agreed softly. The confidence she'd had the night before was gone. Once I was back in California, I emailed my attorney and sent every document. I confirmed with the bank that the account was frozen. 3 days later, Dad texted me. He had paid half the debt from his savings. The rest would come from refinancing the house. A week later, the bank notified me that the full balance had been paid. I told my lawyer to pause the case for now but to keep everything on record. I sent Mom a brief message. Payment confirmed. Do not use my name again. She replied, please forgive me. I didn't answer immediately. I didn't even try to analyze whether she felt genuine remorse or just fear. What mattered was that no one could open anything in my name ever again. In the next family group chat, when someone joked, maybe next year we'll celebrate your wedding? Mom replied herself, her life is her choice. I read the message. I didn't send a laughing emoji. I just set my phone down. I'm still the same woman. I have my job, my apartment, my friends. The only difference is that I no longer hide behind a quiet smile. If someone asks me a question, I answer directly. And if someone crosses a line, I don't shrink back. On that Christmas dinner night, they thought they were making me small. The next morning, I simply turned on the light. And when the light comes on, everything becomes visible. After that, there really was silence. The kind without laughter, without jokes. Just the truth. If this story touched you or made you think about your own boundaries, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Your support helps me share more honest, real stories like this one. Thank you for reading, for feeling, and for being part of this journey with me. It truly means more than you know.